Strapping in the Badlands, 20 blues at my feet, no kidding, 5 more, they're probably gonna kick me. Mowing scouts till all of the trash is put out, capping blues like Biggie Spice said, was there ever any doubt? But in the middle of my fight, I turn around, stop none other than an...
Hello and welcome to the Games Report. I'm your host, Thomas, and joining me today, as always, is my co-host, Luke.
Hello, lovely to be here today. Today we're going to be discussing some big upcoming releases, drama in Activision Blizzard, and some new women's-only esports leagues.
At the end of the episode, we'll be discussing our personal and statistical games of the episode. Anyway, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. Blizzard's been actually under fire recently with all this stuff going on. Because, first of all, the delays. So when both the games have recently been delayed, they were supposedly going to have, we didn't have a confirmed release date, but they were supposed to be released like next year, April, May 2022. But now it looks like they've been pushed back to at least like a hopeful February 2023, which has been really awful, actually. Their investors have not taken kindly to that, and stocks have been dropping rapidly for Blizzard. It's been quite awful.
Yeah, and talking about Activision Blizzard being under fire, they've recently been sued by the state of California for alleged harassment and discrimination of female employees. They also had to change the name of popular character of their hit game Overwatch, McCree, to Cole Cassidy, because McCree was named after an employee who now has sexual assault allegations.
Yeah, that was a tough one. They got a lot of flack for that, and actually a lot of in-game content that was supposed to be pushed forward into Overwatch the game got pushed back, and a lot of stuff got pushed aside because of this, and they struggled a lot with trying to make their way around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also on this note, on the 29th of July, there was a big walkout of a lot of Blizzard employees. In fact, I'm pretty sure the numbers were almost at like 200. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually pretty bad. I think they had a lot of World of Warcraft issues as well. That was like, they had a lot of issues with World of Warcraft discrimination and loads of stuff like that.
So now on to the next segment. There've been some really big changes in esports at the moment. A lot of women's only esports leagues and teams have been integrated. For example, in Valorant, there's been the VCT Game Changers League, where many pro organizations in the Csgo and Valorant scene have been making female teams, such as Cloud9, Gambit. All these huge esports teams have been investing in the women's only scene. Jess, what are your thoughts on the women's only scene?
I was going to ask you the same thing, because I'm actually very interested to see in this, because, you know, leagues, like big sports leagues, for example, the NBA, the WNBA, the AFL, the WAFL, there is an actual, like there's a literal physical DNA difference between women and men when it comes to physical sports, but I'm not quite sure if they needed a whole entire league for a women's esports. I'm actually not sure about that.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, there are very few to none biological differences between males and females in esports, and the reason why these female leagues have been integrated, is because there's a big cultural difference between males and females in esports. So it's to help try and integrate females into professional gaming, and then hopefully have a co-ed league that's the main league. But the only issue I see with that is it's going to be hard to integrate a co-ed league. It's going to be, because you're going to need to abolish the female league, which is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Also, I'd really hate for the female-only leagues to be seen as subpar leagues, because I think this might add to segregation even more and hurt the culture a lot more.
I completely agree, because separating the two is almost like it's a double-edged sword. Because obviously we want women to be able to compete in a predominantly, you know, male in a male audience, male player base. It's the esports has been as far as it's been around, it's been completely male dominated, and I think it's important to get women into the and integrated into the scene. I'm not quite sure if this was the way to go about it, um, because especially since there's just not as many. I don't think there's as many females interested in gaming as men, and hopefully and that probably will like change, especially now they see they have like like there is future for women's gaming. But the
Hmm.
co-ed league was the goal, and I think doing this can maybe even be taking a step. Maybe it is raising awareness, but it might be taking it too far because I think we might be taking even a step um away from the co-ed league and uh being treated as equals because as we've seen in the past, creating different leagues for men and women in professional sports has almost created like a rivalry between them, and what anybody that's not what anybody hopes to do when creating these leagues. But it is what it is. A lot of issues get brought up in between. Things like pay
Yeah.
gap and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and something really good to see is that females already are being integrated into team-based male-dominated esports such as Overwatch. In fact, in about 2017, I believe, the Shanghai Dragons recruited Gaguru, who is an amazing Zarya player, arguably one of the best Zarya players in the league.
Yeah, it's good to see stuff like that. I know a lot of especially in Overwatch. Actually, I don't know why, like specifically Overwatch, but especially in Overwatch, a lot of female players or female just content creators even have tried to go on pro and have actually had opportunities and things like that. So it's good to see. Hopefully that continues. It's now time for the games of the episode. First off, Luke will do our statistical game of the episode.
Yeah, so our statistical game of the episode would have to be New World. It's had insane numbers. It peaked at 910,000 active players, which is insane. And has well over 1 million downloads, which for a $50 game, that's a lot of money going to Amazon Games
Yeah,
pocket.
that is a top tier game from not necessarily a AAA start, like not necessarily AAA developers releasing such a big game is pretty big news.
Yeah, I mean, this is Amazon Game Studios' first game, really, well, first big game at least, and
Yeah,
they've come off to a flying start. Arguably
yeah,
the biggest game of the year.
I
It's a
agree.
very good result
It's
all over
it is
this.
in contention. They've really hit the ground running with this one. I think there's definitely they've done great things already, and there's even more future potential. Especially rivaling games such as World of Warcraft, which are in such a low period right now. I think they're really in a great time. Diablo 4 is being delayed, and World of Warcraft is coming under fire. They're two of their biggest like competitors are currently down, and they're only going up from here. So that's like super good timing for them. I think that is actually. I'm not sure if that was planned, but it was definitely well. It did very well, but they just need to focus on maintaining the player base they have now.
Yeah, I certainly have to agree with you. It's amazing timing for them, considering a lot of players of the MMORPG genre are looking for a game, and you all just came in at the perfect time for it.
It's actually very shockingly. I think they're only like a big competition at the minute. It's probably the Final Fantasy games.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy is probably going to be their big contenders. But
Yeah. Also, something amazing to hear for the game is that it's from Amazon Game Studios, that they have a lot of funding behind them. It's the biggest it's like the second biggest company in the world currently.
it's true. They got those Bezos bucks.
Yep.
Jeff
And now we're
Bezos.
gonna be going on to Thomas's personal game of the episode.
Oh yes. It's actually kind of a tough one. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to pick for this, but I had to go with Csgo after the recent events of the major. Honestly, obviously Navi finally won a major. They haven't won. They haven't won a big tournament since I think it was like 1.6. They haven't won anything since
Yeah.
like 1.6.
I mean, yeah, Simple, arguably the best player of all time, has
Yeah,
been on Na'Vi forever and
that's true.
hasn't won a major
I
until
think
now.
that is absolutely it's really big news because I think not even arguably. I think it's just he's maybe hands down the best player of all time, especially now with this major win under his belt. He's definitely got more. He's got more trophies in the case. He's got more proof to that title. So that's really good to see. And it was Nico. They were versing Nico. He had a really he was playing tough. I think he had one play. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Luke.
Yeah, he had the deagle. He whiffed
Yeah,
about
the
5 shots.
the deagle. Oh yeah, it was bad. The deagle. Okay, so everyone's talking about this deagle play. And he's getting a lot of flack for it. He's catching a lot of flack. But I think it's pretty undeserved because let's be honest, he carried a dead team to the major. So at least the fact that they even appeared there means that, he's obviously been putting in work. So I gotta pay respect to that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, unfortunately, with this major win by Simple, a very big meme in the CSGO community has to go away, where you could say, no matter how good Simple is, I have just as many major wins as him. That was just the other day I was saying that.
That's true. I'm sad that it will never be used again. Anyway, moving on to Luke's personal game of the episode.
So yeah, for this, once again, it was a very hard choice. In fact, I'd almost go as far as saying Thomas stole my game. But I, am gonna be picking Super Auto Pets, which is a game. It's an auto battler or auto chess genre. Very similar to TFT or Dota Auto Chess. It's made by a very small game studio. In fact, I believe this is their first game called Teamwood Games. But luckily for them, not only is it extremely addicting, I put 30 hours in the first 5 days, first week maybe. On top of that, many big streamers, YouTubers have started playing it a lot and given them a lot of names. In fact, the servers have been having a lot of difficulty because they've been having hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, which is crazy.
Yeah, what was the game? There was a game that had that same issue. I'm trying to think what it was. But I swear there was another game that blew up so fast that the servers just absolutely cacked themselves. They were just having a tough time. But I feel like, how long ago was it? When did you start playing Super Auto Pets? Because I feel like you started talking about it a lot. You started playing it with mates, what, a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, a few weeks ago, before it got the big wave, fairly unknown YouTuber I watched, played the game, and I was hooked as soon as I saw it. It's amazing. I love how many different ways you can integrate strategy into it. I love the constantly evolving meta, and the almost weekly updates. It's amazing.
I mean, yeah, I think this is similar success to other small indie games that we've seen in the past. It'll just be interesting to see how is this Super Auto Pets thing going to be like an actual mainstay in the genre, and possibly even because I don't think this genre was really. I think TFT has got to be the biggest game in the genre before, or still is probably the biggest game in the genre.
Yeah.
But it never really reached the mainstream. It never, this genre still has never reached the big stages it's never had its spot, in the spotlight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, after Dota Auto Chess kind of pioneered the genre, nothing other than really TFT and now Super Auto Pets has really broken the bubble out of this auto battler. No one really plays auto battlers, at least big, very well-known people.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
something I love about this game is how cute the little animals are.
That is true. All the other games have these warriors and these characters, but I don't see anybody else full stacking a bison.
Yeah.
Not a lot of the competitors can say that they're doing that. Thank you all for listening. This has been the Games Report, episode 1. We'll see you all in the next week in the next episodes to come.
Yeah, it was lovely being here. Thank you so much for listening.